So we have been saying for a long time that the 1992 Constitution has some difficulties and it needs to be looked at. Tonight we're going to explain to you why the issues in Parliament have a direct correlation with the provisions of the 1992 Constitution. So let's start. Where did the 1992 Constitution come from? So it's the Fourth Republic. So we started Ghana in 1957, and then there was a coup d'etat that overthrew the First Republic of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The coup occurred in 1966, and then there was another coup that overthrew the Second Republic. There was another coup that overthrew the Third Republic, and so we decided to get back onto constitutional rule, legitimate rule. So we called it the Fourth Republic because we have had three already. All right. Now, there has to be a constitution that is fashioned for every republic. So there's the First Republican Constitution, Second Republican Constitution, Third Republican Constitution, and the Fourth Republican Constitution. The Fourth Republican one is very different from all the other three. The Second Republic one looks a little bit like the First Republic, and the Third Republic looks like a classic American Constitution. So the Fourth Republic is completely different. We call it the hybrid. But there's a problem in that constitution, the reason why we are where we are. Because the First Republic and the Fourth Republican Constitution is born out of a revolution. And it is about these revolutionaries who gave birth to the Constitution, or who allowed, or who were pressured, that's the correct word, these revolutionaries who were pressured to produce a Constitution participated in the process of bringing out the Constitution. So they are revolutionaries. They are PNDC people. They are cadres. They are revolutionaries. They have ultimate power through the operation of a coup d'etat government. Ultimate power belongs to the revolutionaries. Now they are participating in writing a constitution for the new republic. They imported all the powers inside the coup situation into the constitution. That's the crisis of our nation. It's as simple as that. We have to take that document and have another look at it. Understand the history of the document. We need to understand the history that animates that document. And once we understand the history, having operated it for 30 years, we will be able to see the problem. The main problem of this constitution is that the coup makers of PNDC, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings and his group, who participated in producing this constitution, imported all the powers inside what we call the Establishment Proclamation Decree. So the Establishment Proclamation Decree, what you see here, what we've written down, is that document that presents the coup. So in an Establishment Proclamation Decree, which will be their first decree number 1, PNDC Law 1 or something like that, is always the first law. It will write that a government has been established in Ghana called the Provisional National Defense Council. That government shall have legislative, judicial, and executive powers. So with every establishment decree, the proclamation, you're going to have the powers of executive, legislature, and judiciary all awarded to the coup makers. And it's like that with every coup. The concern that I'm raising is that because these coup makers participated in creating the 1992 Constitution, they also imported these powers into the 1992 Constitution. Let's go to powers of the president, the executive powers, and then I'll show you in a bit how that works out. It's very important for us to understand this at this time. Now, because of that, because of who they were, and then they wrote the Constitution. Now you will understand the politics of how the 1992 Constitution was written. You remember that the Ghana Bar Association, the intellectual class and the intelligentsia decided to boycott the processes of writing the Constitution because they were unhappy that other civil society members in the community had been brought in to help draft the Constitution. They were unhappy about that process. So the PNDC guys had a field day. So the PNDC guys went in, the revolutionaries, Kwame Nkrumah, Chachuchi Kata, yes, them, the revolutionaries. They took hold of the Constitution and gave us this Constitution. It is because of that process. That's why we are in this crisis. And it's taken us 30 years for us to realize that people have been talking about it all the time. In fact, as early as 1992, Professor Dubois and some of his friends campaigned against voting for this constitutional referendum on the basis that the Constitution looked like a revolutionary document, that whoever wins the presidential election will have absolute power, and that could take Ghana into a crisis. Winner takes all has its delimitations, and I'll show you what Professor Jampo has been saying about it. Let me try and do it very quickly. So the revolutionaries gave us these clauses in the 1992 Constitution. Now, listen to this. Executive Authority of Ghana, it's in 58, Article 58. It says, the Executive Authority of Ghana, that is the entire executive authority in this country of Ghana, shall vest in the President and shall be exercised in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. The executive authority of Ghana shall extend to the execution and maintenance of this constitution and all laws made under or continued in force by this constitution. Now look at 4. That is worse. It says, except as otherwise provided in this constitution or by any law not inconsistent with this constitution, all executive acts of government shall be expressed to be taken in the name of the president. So you have a constitution then. That sort of gives the entire powers in a government to an individual called the president. Here it talks about executive authority. So you might think that there's no judicial authority for the president. You might think that there's no legislative authority for the president. Now this is on the backdrop of a president who has won election by 50% plus something. So in Ghana's constitution, given our culture and our background, you can win 49% of the vote as a presidential candidate and lose the presidential election. You would have lost everything. That's the point we're making tonight. And we'll come back to voting for our DCs. We'll come back to that regrettable situation. We'll come to that. That's how we'll end. Because you can see where I'm going. So a person goes to the election, whether you are called Akufo-Addo, you are called John Dramani Mahama, whatever you are called, you can win 49% of the votes. You are out. You and your supporters are out for the next 4 years in terms of decision making. That must stop. We cannot continue like that. Because this is 49% of our people. Should they have nothing to do in terms of participating in the way the country is run until the next election? That's why you have what you're having in parliament. Because once the new government starts, opposition is out. So they don't have anything to do. They are not busy. They are concentrating on politics. And they start the campaign. Now we see campaigns are starting early. When we started the constitution in the year 2004, 2008 campaign did not start in 2005. For sure, anybody who remembers, the campaign for 2008, it didn't start in 2005. The campaign for 2000 election didn't start in 1997. But now, the campaign for 2024 has already started. We have not even ended 2021 because the opposition is in a hurry, because they have nothing to do. Even if they win 48%, the system, the superstructure, does not give the opposition anything to do. And that's why tonight we're going to talk about proportional representation. Until we do these things, until we face it squarely and understand the foundation of the Constitution, revolutionaries imported their power. Some of them are still alive. They should own up and tell us what conversations they had before they produced this kind of Constitution. It's not sustainable over several years. It's done well over 26, 30 years, but you saw what happened in Parliament yesterday. It's not sustainable. Now let's finish with this executive authority that they gave us in the Constitution. Article 58 is that. Okay, let's move on. So we go to Article 43. The President appoints the Electoral Commissioner. Now this president, this Ghanaian president who wins elections by 50% plus 1, that means his opponents could have won 49%. He has all the powers. All the executive authority of Ghana shall be expressed to have been taken in his name. So Article 43, appointment of members of Electoral Commission by the President. Article 201, appointment of chairman of the Police Council by the President. 202, appointment of the Inspector General of Police by the President. 206, appointment of the chairman of Prison Service Council by the President. 211, appointment of the Chief of Defense Staff by the President. Chapter 11, all the judiciary, all the senior members of the judiciary appointed by the President. So can't we say that a candidate who at the presidential election wins more than 47% of the votes shall participate in appointing people in this order? 1 Supreme Court judge, 1 commissioner of the Electoral Commission, something. We have to think creatively because we cannot have a winner takes all going on. And that's why I'm sad about people rejecting the president's proposal that let's have district assembly elections, votes by partisan, so that we break the winner takes all situation. We didn't include that. But the president is appointing all DCEs. All DCEs are being appointed by the president. All of them. And this was the proposal that let's begin to deconstruct the winner takes all situation under the 1992 Constitution because it is our problem. There's another reason, there's another factor about this winner takes all Constitution. You will see that because our parliament is the way it is, over the years, we have been losing the smaller parties. We have lost all the smaller parties. I'm going to show you the election results. Give me the file on the election results. I'm going to show you election results from 1979. That will show you that gradually we have been losing the role of the smaller political parties, which is a very, very important role in sustaining our democracy. Now we have two giant parties, two elephants fighting. The grass will suffer. They are always fighting. 137, 137. And they are fighting because there's nothing for the NDC to do. NDC would have by now won the Keta DC. They would have won Keta. They would have won Ho. They probably would have won Accra. They could have fought for Tamale. They would have won some of it. And it would have been those places that will represent the government of the NDC, the opposition government. The NDC would have put effort in what is happening in Tamale's mayor's office to show Ghanaians that as we have done with Tamale, we can do with the rest of the country. So next time you can vote for us. But important Ghanaians sat down and rejected this proposal by the president. You have a president who says, I have this power. I think that the winner takes all thing is too much. Let's break it. Let political parties fight for it. So by now, instead of fighting in parliament, they would have been fighting for the Takrady mayor seat. Campaign would have been going on. They would have been fighting for Keta. NPP would have been hoping to keep Kumasi. They would have been hoping to pick Wale Wale. And that's how it would have been. That's what happens in America. It happens even in Nigeria. So look at Nigeria with all its flashes of explosion. Nigeria, they have flashes of Boko Haram is here, Northerners are here, the people in the south fighting over the oil. There are always flashes of explosion in Nigeria. But Nigeria never collapsed because you don't have a winner-takes-all situation in Nigeria. That's really the story. So for many years when the famous Nigerian Lagos governor, Fashola, was governor of Lagos, the government in Abuja was the opposition, the other party, the government party was in Abuja, and the opposition party had Lagos. Lagos is a very important economy. It's a big economy in Nigeria, probably bigger nearly to Ghana's economy. But Lagos was always won by the opposition. Mr. Fashola, who was the mayor of Lagos, was the opposition candidate, and he won the elections in Lagos. The government sat in Abuja. And so because they have that, Nigeria always produces flashes of explosion. They never get to explode because they don't have a winner-takes-all. We have a dramatic, draconian, and unhelpful winner-takes-all that has to be broken. Otherwise, what we are seeing in Parliament is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Young people, rise up. Look at your constitution. Think of which article that we should change. And I'm saying that let's have something in the constitution that says that a candidate who has won more than 47% of the votes must have a role to play in the appointment of important people in Ghana. Because that candidate is carrying 47% of the people. We definitely must go back to Akufo-Addo's proposal to elect our mayors on partisan lines. We have to revisit that. And with new learning, we should be able to accept that and have a referendum across the country that allows Ghanaians to choose their own mayors and choose them on political lines so that you can test the NDC in Kwabre, you can test the MPP in another town in Koko, and you can see that places where NDC have the mayor, you see it like that. Places where MPP have the mayor, you see it like that. That factors into the main election. And parties are going to be serious to run their mayorship well because now it's a competition between the two parties. Let's look at this one very quickly. I'm not starting from 2000. Let me start from 79. Okay, so I'm going all the way to 1979. And this is the electoral picture of Ghana after the 1979 elections. Look at how many parties are involved. PMP, the winning parties, out of 140 seats. PMP, 71. Popular Front Party comes second, 42. United National Convention, 13. Even if you add PFP and UNC as one group, you get 53, I believe. 55. You get 55. So let's even give it to them, 55. Then Action Congress Party has 10. Social Democratic Front, very small party, has 3. Independent has 1. They come to 140. Let's move on. Let's look at the year 2000. 2000, New Patriotic Party, 100 seats out of 200 at this time. New Patriotic Party has 100 seats. Remember, the Constitution said that for a question to be put in Parliament, at least more than 1/2 of the members of Parliament must be present. So if this was the equation in the year 2000, the New Patriotic Party by themselves could not have had, if everyone else walked out, they wouldn't have been able to put the votes. They were 100. But guess what was beautiful about 2000? So 100 for MPP, 92 for NDC, 3 goes to PNC, very, very much alive. And then 1 seat goes to CPP, and independents carry as much as 4 seats. That's the picture. Now, this has been dwindling, and the point I'm making is that because we have a certain kind of parliamentary system, why I'm advocating for proportional representation. This has been dwindling over the years. Let's move on. This is 2004. 128 seats for the New Patriotic Party, 94 seats for the NDC. PNC has 4, CPP has 3, Independent has 1. In fact, PNC has moved. CPP moves to 3 seats in 2004, and PNC has 4 seats. Okay, let's continue and see what happens. 2008, MPP has 107, NDC has 116, PNC still there, they have 2, CPP has 1, Independent have 4 seats in 2008. Independent has as much as 4 seats of a 230 parliament. NDC has 116. Calculate for me. Let's see whether that gives them the half plus 1. 116 out of 230. That's 2008 parliament. And then we come to 2020 parliament. See what we got. All the smaller political parties have died. They're all gone. Now you have 2 main parties sitting. 137, 137, and 1. I'm predicting that over the next election, if nothing changes, we don't foresee any party dominating parliament more than 10. We don't foresee that. But this is the picture of today. It's the picture of today because we have killed all the smaller parties. The reason why we have killed the smaller parties is the kind of system that we operate. We have a very broad, a grand winner-takes-all system, and we don't have a proportional representation. So smaller parties are not represented. Now let me introduce to you proportional representation. Let's put proportional representation there. And let me introduce you to proportional representation. And then, first let's talk about winner-takes-all. Let's have winner-takes-all that runs for jump a bit. Let's have our winner-takes-all. And then I'll introduce you to proportional representation. I like to borrow from Professor White, for example, when he talked about winner-takes-all. Winner-takes-all is what we have. And what we need to do is to deconstruct that. Deconstruct the winner-takes-all situation. And if we're able to do it, we will surely have a better... this is from Professor Jampo in one of his documents. And he says that winner-takes-all, WTO politics, as argued in previous presentations, connotes an extremely divisive and partisan subculture that excludes all other Ghanaians who are not part of the ruling party from national governance and decision-making in a manner that polarizes the nation and dissipates the much-needed talent and brains for national development. Oh, I thought something else was going to come. Okay, so this runs for Jampo's definition of winner-takes-all. Let's look at it again. Winner-takes-all, as argued in previous presentations, connotes an extremely divisive and partisan subculture that excludes all other Ghanaians who are not part of the ruling party. Now, we need to be circumspect about this. That's what runs for Jampo says, that winner-takes-all excludes all Ghanaians who are not part of the ruling party. If we don't change this attitude, because the sociologists tell us that man's work is about first preserving himself. Self-preservation is always first in every man's agenda, which is true. You can't do anything about it. That's how God made us. Self-preservation is first. It is this self-preservation that leads people to be fighting in parliament the way they fight, because they have nothing to hold on to. Winner takes all must be deconstructed. Let's find out useful suggestions and let's propose useful amendments for why we have to get winner takes all out of our political equation. I've told you about Nigeria. I've told you about other places. They don't have a winner-takes-all. America, United States, they don't have a winner-takes-all. Recently, you saw that Donald Trump lost elections in 2020 in America. Recently, his party, one of his good friends, won elections in Maryland or Virginia. A place, I think it was Virginia, a place where the Democrats have always been winning. A Republican won it. And Donald Trump celebrated the victory because they ran on partisan lines and they are independent of the presidential election. And now mayor elections are going on all over America. And the Republicans, even though they are in opposition in the White House, they're going to be in power somewhere. Of course, they're going to be in power in places like Florida, and they know some Republican places they're going to be in power. So in America, they talk about being in opposition in Washington, not being in opposition in the whole country. To be in the opposition in the whole country is a winner-takes-all situation. That's a disaster for a developing country like ours. We can't have that. And given the culture we are coming from, we can't have that anymore. Let's have some people thinking, some great thinkers bringing us something to change the winner-takes-all. And that's why I'm still sad that this speech of Akufo that I'm going to show to you is the saddest speech that I have seen in any political research that I have done. That a president of a country like Ghana, given the circumstance, thinks that we have a fundamental problem with the arrangement of our society. Some revolutionaries who wanted to perpetrate their own agenda set up a constitution for us in a manner that is not sustainable over a long time. And he comes to power and says that I have the power. I think that I don't want that power anymore. The power to appoint the DCs, I don't think I should keep it. Let me propose an amendment and let all of us look at the amendment. It went to Parliament. Every parliamentarian thought it was good. It passed without any hitch. It came out to the general public. National Democratic Congress, the same people who are fighting in Parliament, for whom would have been the immediate beneficiaries of this because they are the current opposition party. This would have benefited them more than anyone else. The president says that I think that we should do this and divide my power. I have that power. I don't want it. And Ghanaians said no. And on that Sunday, when I watched the president deliver this speech, I thought that if we don't rise up, then there will be some activities that are being carried out either under the earth or on top of the earth against us. This was listen to the president. Listen to how the president put it. Have a look.
These consultations was that the process of repeal should be put on hold for the time being to enable a durable national consensus to be forged on this matter. In these circumstances, I'm convinced that it will not serve the public interest to go ahead with the holding of the referendum on 17th December, even though I believe a strong campaign for a yes vote would have succeeded. This is not the kind of atmosphere in which the repeal of an entrenched provision of the Constitution should take place. Even though I'm unrepentant in my belief that party politics is good for our country, for it enhances accountability, I also think that on matters of such constitutional significance, there should be a broad national consensus behind the repeal of an entrenched provision of the Constitution. So, fellow Ghanaians, it is with deep regret that I've given instructions to the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, who was spearheaded this process on behalf of government with commendable vigor and dynamism, to abort the process and see to the withdrawal of the bills for the amendment of the Constitution, both in respect of Article 2431 and Article 55.3. Nonetheless, I assure you, the good people of Ghana, that my government and I will continue to work for a broad national consensus on this issue. And should such a consensus be attained for the repeal of Article 55.3 of the Constitution and an agreement reached for political parties to participate in and sponsor candidates for election to district assemblies at any point during my tenure of office as President of the Republic, the matter will be brought again back to the front burner of our public discourse for the necessary action. May God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make her great.
All right, so you heard the president say that it is with regret. That regret, I think we should not let it fall to the ground and germinate more regrets. Let us put ourselves to the wheel. Young people, I hear people talk about changing things in the country, and I sometimes look at them and I laugh. You have to bring proposals and recommendations. And one day I'll do a history of all the people who have sought changes in Ghana since 1897, the Aborigines' rights, and which ones have been successful and which ones have not been successful. Those who have not been successful are those who say change and they don't say anything. They just say, let's change. That's all. It won't go anywhere. And then you find them fighting amongst each other. Come and tell us that this article of the Constitution should be amended to read this. This one should be amended to import. Tonight, the main amendment we're leaving with you is that let's go back to the president's proposal of having DCs voted on partisan lines. It will break the winner takes all somewhat. Not everything, but somewhat. And then number two, let's consider the votes of a presidential candidate who is able to achieve more than 47% of the votes cast. Today, John Mahama is in opposition. Tomorrow, it will be another person. When Professor Addo was fighting about this in 1992, it was NDC people who said no. When he was talking about winner takes all, they said no. Today, they are the other end of it. They've lost 2 elections and they've been in opposition with significant votes of over 45%. Well, 2016 was 44%, but the last one was over 45%, and they're in opposition. And so they are fighting because they have to wait till the next election. Nobody likes to do that. And it doesn't just happen in Parliament, it happens in all spheres of the society because the power of distribution is given to president only, and that whatever marks you win in the election, it counts for nothing unless you're able to achieve 50% plus one. That situation must change.